Are you willing to pay a little bit of a premium for a chain that's handmade? Surprisingly enough, my homie Dennis over at LOCO told me that he's now offering a handmade 5.5mm rope chain in silver. Handmade rope chain in silver with affordability. Personally, I don't see many things that are handmade, especially something as complex and still small in the 5.5mm space for something to be handmade. So I asked him, Dennis, send me a handmade versus a machine made. Let's do a side-by-side comparison because I want to see if myself as well as the audience can tell the difference and see if we're willing to pay a little bit more for a handmade item in silver. Let's roll my motherfucking music so we can check out LOCO's 5.5mm handmade versus his machine made.
I'm kind of a big deal.
Blessed morning, my beautiful peoples. You know who it is. It's your boy, C to the U to the B to the A. Shout out to LOCO for sponsoring today's video and sending over this comparison for educational purpose for all of us. There are a lot of people that are silver artisans that do make things that are beautiful, handmade, but it's not something that you commonly find in the affordable space. The majority of the items that he gets are Italian-made, beautifully pristine pieces. But when you're tapping into something that's imperfectly perfect, aka handmade, then you're getting into a different category. Now, it's a roll of the dice. Some people aren't willing to pay a premium for handmade pieces versus the Italian made, not necessarily saying one is much better than the other. I personally prefer the handmade Cubans. There's a certain level of warmth and refinement, and just knowing that I got some OGs in the back sweating like animals, just making this beautiful handmade crafted piece that you can pass down, this heirloom that you can hand down from generation to generation that was made by hand as opposed to a machine, which in all reality is the way that everything's going with the progression of AI. We're starting to lose manual things that are made as opposed to machinery making everything. So in typical fashion, the items came in their LOCO packaging with the sticker, a little keychain thingy, and these two 5.5mm chains, one is 20 and one is 22 inch. Just by looking at them, do you know which one is handmade? Is it number 1 or number 2? 1, 2. Leave in the comments below real quick which one you think is the handmade just by visual appearance. Go ahead and guess. Hope you answered below and you'll find out momentarily. So just by holding in packaging, one seems a little bit heavier than the other, but one is also longer than the other, so that definitely goes into play. Now, me looking at these pieces, I was actually confused at first. The invoice breaks down which one is handmade and which one is silver, but aesthetically, I was really sure that one of them was 100% man-made, and I was wrong. That one was the machine-made one. And this is the one that I was wrong about. So if you said that this one was the machine-made one, you are 100% correct. So the machine one in this case is 22 inches in length, 5.5mm, and of course, Italian-made. This one does have the light diamond cuts. It is a bolder piece, but for me, for some reason, having it side by side, and I'll show you momentarily to the handmade one, this one seemed to be the one that was handmade. The reason why I believe this one was handmade is because it felt a little bit more spacious than I would anticipate the machine one to make. But then I started realizing, I'm like, yo, somebody who's getting in there with intricacies and making this shit so specific, so small, would try to get it as close as possible. But the dead giveaway of this being machine made for me after it was verified is the stiffness of this piece. There's a limited amount of mobility when it comes to these rope chains, not having this pliability, right? Aesthetically, it's still beautiful. 5.5mm is still a very hefty length. It is a nice, shiny, clean, beautifully white piece. Now, as a machine-made piece, I would anticipate this being a 5.5mm. It should be almost dead-on balls accurate to being 5.5mm, so let's verify. And it's actually a little bit over. This one is 22 inches, and again, beautiful, aesthetic is kind of what you expect, but I thought that this one was handmade. But now, let's just compare this machine-made 5.5 versus the handmade one. Here is the 20-inch a lot more flexible and pliable. Now this one has so much more refinement. The cuts on this one are much more pronounced. The pliability of this one, it just sits flat on the hand. It's a lot more malleable. It's a lot more fluid on the body, which feels, I don't know, it just feels of a different type of quality. It doesn't have that rigidity and that stiffness of this one. Like you can kind of hold the peak up of this one and kind of mess with it. And in this one, it just won't kind of stand up. So in this one, you see you can kind of keep it up. And in this one, you can't. Like it just will not go down. Now, side by side, this being the handmade one and this one being the machine-made one, you can see that the handmade one has this really sharp essence. Now, that's why I thought this one initially was the machine-made one, because it's fucking beautifully executed. I would have figured that the machine one would have had so much more sharpness, so much more detail, and so much more enhancement. But doing these two side by side, this one supersedes this one by a decent amount in my personal opinion and style preference. But both of these joints are beautiful in their own right. And I mean, this one, I don't know. Let me see what the weight is like. So remember, this one is 2 inches longer than this one. So let's check out first the handmade one and see how much this one weighs. Oh, first, let me check the millimeters on this one. Should be 5.5. This one is a bit over. This one is 5.91. Actually, it's what it measured in. So 5.91. This one was like, what, 5.6? Let's see what the weight on the handmade one is at 20 inches. All right, so the handmade one is, hold on. Let's get it all the way there. All right, so the handmade one is weighing it at 54.2 grams, and the machine one is weighing it at 59.6 grams. All right, now let's try this on neck. Now we're starting with the machine-made one. Still got crazy shine. It's still super handsome. Nobody's gonna notice these details but you. I promise you, never in life, nobody's gonna be like, oh shit, that's a machine. Never in life. It's all about you and your personal preferences, paying a little bit of premium for something that was constructed by expert hands. But let's check out the neck profile. Now let's try on the handmade one. I like the pliability of the handmade one. I like the fact that it moves and it's more fluid for my personal taste. And aesthetically, the cuts, the detail, the tightness of this one just screams a little bit more my style. And maybe I'm just tripping out, or maybe it's just biased right now, but the handmade one, does it not seem a little bit shinier because of those sharper diamond cuts? Let's check the neck profile. How do these joints shine in the darkness? Overall, both of them are super good looking, but my personal preference would be the handmade one. It seems a bit more refined, a little bit more of a premium to experience a handmade piece, especially something so small and difficult to do as this piece here. A machine doesn't put in the kind of effort that a man can put in.
Pause, that's crazy.
Keeping in mind that handmade pieces are not going to be as perfect as a machine explicitly calibrated to do. It has an imperfectly perfect warmth beauty to it. The beauty of handmade is that it's never going to be perfect. That like man, like human being, we are imperfectly perfect, and there's something here that's to be said about something that is handmade and being offered by LOCO, tapping into the handmade piece. I'm definitely excited to see. So excited so that I'm gonna give these to one of you lucky subscribers. All you have to do is simply be following my channel, comment below, enter the giveaway, and I will randomly select, using the random comment picker, someone to receive both of these chains. You're not gonna be able to pick which one you specifically want. The random comment picker is going to pick. It's only available for shipping in the US. You do not have to pay $1. Thank you to LOCO for allowing me to do this and giving both of these chains out. Again, you're not picking Cuba, I want the handmade one. Yet you get what you get, and if you get it, be happy. It's free $99. I love y'all mother suckers from the heart. I'll put links in the description if you guys are interested in getting some of these. I don't know how many he's gonna have in stock, so if you're definitely interested in getting the handmade one, I would jump on it if this is your type of style and something that you've been looking for. I'll see y'all snitches next time. You know who it is, biggest in the game, Smooches.
Hey, for all the chicks that got dead in the penthouse suite on top of my mom's crib. It's nonsense you never get in. It's nonsense that you would think that you would